Good morning, everyone. How is everyone? Goodness sakes. God is so good. God is so good. We are busy, busy, busy. So we'll be trying to get these streams in when we can. Uh, Wednesdays are always a bad day for us. We always have, um, it seems like we're picking up somebody. So it's hard to do too much. 3 hours in the morning are good, except for when the kids have to take over the computer. Ha ha ha. For school. Anyway, they're on their uh, vacation, Christmas vacation, whatever you want to call it, break. Little minds need a break, right? Anyway, God is so good. Anyway, just a few things. I really want to start with all this stuff. I just feel like we're in such a constitutional crisis, guys. I feel like, is there a constitution in play anymore? Um, you guys know how I feel. I've griped enough about it, but just with some of the things, picking up all my oils that fell over, the cats must have been on the table. Just some of the things that have taken place, you know, with all the, I just, what comes to mind when people, you know, try to remove people from ballots, try to harness your opinion towards one direction, um, and it's got to be the direction that they want you to go in. That sounds like China, a third world country, or China's not a third world country, but it sounds like things that happen in third world countries, or like China, where it's a dictatorship, right? Um, where you best vote this way. Um, anyway, even though everyone says all these places these people are duly elected, like you have a choice, right? I don't know sometimes. Anyway, let's get into these headlines, and you guys will hear me rant as we go along. Good morning, Daryl. How are you, sunshine? The sun is bright today here. All righty. Um, and then I have an article that I didn't put in the lineup, but we're going to cover it anyway. All right. So this, in my opinion, is very troublesome. A lot of you guys think, I say constitutional crisis. This is one of those things where I think, the government is overreaching, um, state government, local, federal, all of it, overreach, overreach, overreach. They have, they have, you know, gone as far as now they're trying to tell a business when they can be open and when they can be closed. This, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Uh, Everybody knows that Chick-fil-A, they honor their Sabbath day. That's what this is about. Sabbath day worship for them. They honor the Sunday so everyone can go to church. Um, and again, here, and in my honest opinion, this really is more about the attack on their form of worship versus the business actually being open. But either way it goes, it's an overreach. I mean, you go and you look at the First Amendment, you're supposed to be protected, um, as a religious, for your religious preference, that they're not supposed to hinder that, right? But here, we have New York lawmakers trying to force Chick-fil-A to be open on Sundays. Guys, I think this, in my opinion, is just atrocious. I know a lot of you probably think, well, what's the harm? The harm is this is more control over one's livelihood. This is controlling every aspect of your life, telling you when you can open, when you can work, how to do it, and how not to do it. And the same with worship. So to me, this is huge. Um, I they'll probably, because you know how slanted New York is. It's a true dictatorship there. I think that anybody that stays in New York really is a glutton for punishment. And as much as, they New York State continues to pass and push these bills that can clearly go against our Constitution, but yet they get away with it, and people don't. It's like, I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, I think we're they're trying to box you in, guys. Are you going to allow them to box us in? Are we going to just, continue to play same old politics? Go with the flow. Whoever they put in office is who you get. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion. I'd say vote it out, but I guess at this point, you really need to leave the state of New York. I mean, I can't imagine that New York has this many liberals that don't care, if you tell them how to live. I don't understand it. This is not what this country was founded on. This is not, this just isn't. This is wrong, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about this. Okay, guys. Am I making too much to do and about nothing? Do you think that this, that our freedoms and Constitution are really in a crisis, as I have so much is preached here, almost on a daily basis at sometimes, it seems like. Anyway, New York lawmakers introduced this legislation that would force Chick-fil-A to stay open on Sundays. New York State lawmakers have introduced this legislation. The New York State Assembly Rust Stop Restaurant Act would apply to Chick-fil-A, which is famously closed on Sundays. The bill claims that being closed on Sunday is a disservice and unnecessary inconvenience to travelers. Well, every every traveler that wants to eat someplace else, they sure can, or don't I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, and it's a disservice and unnecessary legislation to embark their personal opinions, because that's what it is. It's an opinion. I don't think I've ever heard anyone tell me, and I have been in food business for a little while before I couldn't work anymore, but this disservice here is absolutely atrocious. I never heard anyone complain. Well, can't say never. I have one friend that would eat Chick-fil-A 7 days a week, but she doesn't go out of town searching to eat at Chick-fil-A's, or she doesn't get all bent when she can't have Chick-fil-A on Sunday. So I think that they're disserving their constituents in New York with this rhetoric. It's an infringement on your, I say, First Amendment, and the pursuit of happiness. I think that's the 6th or 7th. Anyway, I don't know. Just crazy, guys. While there is nothing objectionable about a fast food restaurant closing on a particular day of the week, service areas dedicated to travelers is an inappropriate location for such a restaurant. The bill states, in part, publicly owned service areas should use their space to maximally benefit the public, allowing the retail space to go unused 1/7 of the week or more is a disservice and unnecessary inconvenience to travelers who rely on these service areas. There are no religious exemptions, just one for temporary concessions, such as a farmer's market or local vendors. Oh, mercy, guys. One of the bill's sponsors, Assemblyman Tony Simone, told ABC News that Albany affiliate, we get hungry when we're traveling. We may not like our brother-in-law or sister-in-law's cooking and want to get a snack on Christmas Eve. To find one of the restaurants closed on a throughway is just not in a public good, Simone continued. Chick-fil-A has already signed a 33-year contract with the throughway. Simone added that the throughways are meant to serve New York travelers first, and then it's ridiculous that a food provider would be able to close on Sunday, one of the busiest travel days of the week. Chick-fil-A has not commented on the legislation. The restaurant chain has long been targeted by liberals for their support of a conservative organization and founders' religious beliefs. Guys. And again, I think it's ridiculous. And it's an infringement on their religious beliefs, period. Anyway, all right. We also have Michigan and California looking to remove Trump from the ballot. Guys, we talked about the Colorado thing the other day. This, in my opinion, again, it reminds you of a dictatorship. Whenever you can't beat your opponent, you'll just remove them from the ballot. And then I have an article, I believe, that's in For Your Eyes section that kind of is a follow-up to all of this, that the Republicans are trying to say that they're going to do the same. Guys, please don't stoop to their tactics. I mean, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. And I say it's ridiculous. Is absolutely ridiculous. We don't need to remove people from the ballots. We need to allow the American people to stand up and say what they want. And enough with all this rhetoric. And I mean, there needs to be some kind of, I don't know. I know that everybody says that we get to say what we want, but they need to enact some kind of public forum where, these bills and things of that nature, that they don't just pass because of the people we put in office, because obviously there's too much at stake here when we are allowed these people to do these things. We've got, I mean, it's crazy to think that, you don't like somebody, you're going to dang on railroad them, say they've done things they haven't done. And then, say they can't be on the ballot because of, whatever you deem necessary to have them removed. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I've said my piece. I'm not going to read this article because I'll just get more hot under the collar, and it's too early in the day to get all that mad, guys. Anyway, we also have fears of World War III escalating as Putin threatens to expand the war to the EU nations. Russian President Vladimir Putin's ambiguous rhetoric concerning the expansion of Russia's conflict against Ukraine to other states is intensifying fears of a potential World War III outbreak. In a recent interview with VRT, Belgium's chief of defense, Michel Hoffman, has raised the alarm over the escalating threat posed by Russia to the Eastern European nations. Hoffman highlighted Russia's unsettling shift to a war economy and expressed deep concerns about the Kremlin's language, emphasizing the need for vigilance. I think we are right to be concerned. The language used by the Kremlin and by President Vladimir Putin is always ambiguous, he said during the interview. It is possible that they may open a second front at some point in the future in Moldova or in the Baltic states, highlighting the similarities with the current crisis in Ukraine. Admiral Hoffman called upon European nations to exercise heightened vigilance. He pointed out Moldova and the Baltic nations, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania stand out as most probable targets on Russia's strategic agenda. Acknowledging the ambiguity in Putin's language, Hoffman stressed the imperative for European nations to demonstrate their ability to defend themselves against potential aggression. Despite NATO's presence in the area, heightened tensions persist, especially concerning Moldova, which shares a border with Ukraine, of particular concerns in Transnistria, a disputed region where the Kremlin wields substantial influence. Fears loom that Russia could exploit its claim to the region as a pretext for military aggression, following patterns observed in Ukraine and Georgia. I think that they are gearing up for another front. We've covered that on many different shows and streams and articles. We will definitely continue to keep an eye on that if and when anything does develop further. But this here seems to be the thing that everybody is keeping their eyes and ears open on. And I'll tell you, uh, this is just crazy. The U.S. troops have just been warned of an imminent attack in the Red Sea. Houthi rebel leader has warned of a retaliatory efforts against American warships if the Yemen group is targeted by the U.S. as part of a newly launched operation to counter attacks on commercial shipping in by the sea. The warning comes a day after Houthi rebels based in Yemen attacked two commercial shipping vessels south of the Red Sea. A spokesperson for the Houthi rebels said on Monday that they had attacked two vessels that had alleged links to Israel. In response to the U.S. is leading a new international force, Operation Prosperity Guardian, to ensure that the region remains safe for commercial shipping despite the Houthi rebel attacks. Houthis and Iranian militia groups have launched rockets at Israel since the war in the region began following Hamas' surprise attack on the country on October 7th, Reuters reported. The Yemen group has also increased its attacks on commercial shipping vessels in the Red Sea and has urged ships to avoid traveling to or from Israeli ports. A number of companies have said in recent days that they are halting passage through the Red Sea amid fears of Houthi attacks, which can add days or weeks to shipping times. A Houthi leader warned that Washington, against escalating the situation in the region, the U.S. will conduct joint patrols in the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden, alongside Britain, Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Norway, and Seychelles, in Spain. We will not stand idly by. The Americans are tempted to escalate further and commit foolishness by targeting our country or waging war against it, Abdel Malik al-Houthi said in a televised statement. Any American targeting of our country will be targeted by us, and we will make American battleships, interest in navigations, a target for our missile, drones, and military operations. And yesterday I was in the car and I was riding and I had my eyes closed, and I guess you could say I fell asleep. I don't know if I was asleep or if it was a dream or a vision, but it was so quick when it happened. And I had seen like a waterway, maybe a canal or a strait or something, and it looked like I could see two ships, and it looked like the ships were coming towards one another, right? And then I saw this big explosion. Now, I don't think the ships exploded, but it was like, it looked like there was an explosion behind the ships. It could have been the ships, but I'll tell you, seeing that and then seeing articles like this, just kind of like, whoa, just kind of, just a little, like, I don't know, we'll keep our eyes and ears open for that kind of stuff. I am going to read that, but we're not going to read it yet. Okay. Anyway. We also have a bunch of rhetoric always. Kim is saying he's ready to nuke America. And here we have the U.S. deploying bombers with allied jets and warning to North Korea's Kim. Guys, I think this is really dangerous. He's all the time setting off missiles and stuff. Come on, White Tiger. No. A pair of U.S. Air Force supersonic bombers flew with Allied fighter jet escorts near the Korean Peninsula on Wednesday, in a stark warning to North Korea's Kim Jong-un, whose regime tested a missile this week capable of delivering a nuclear strike on the mainland United States. Images showed two American B-1B Lancers flying in formation with the U.S. F-16, South Korean F-15s, and Japanese F-2 fighter aircraft. The long-range strategic bombers, which can carry a large conventional payload, were taking part in the second trilateral aerial exercise of the year, the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command said. The continued high-end interoperability of our collective forces demonstrates the strength of trilateral relationships with our Japan and the Republic of Korea allies. Our international cooperation is reflective of our shared values and resolve against those who challenge regional stability, the Indo-PAC statement said. And I'm sure there's a little bit more here, but I just wanted to show you, we're answering, I guess what you would say is an answer for his missiles that he continues to fire. But guys, We follow that up with North Korea. We're prepared to nuke America if it makes a wrong decision, guys. So, it's like it doesn't really deter him in all sincerity. He'll wait for another launch probability. And guess what? He'll be launching this and that just to show, hey, look, I can launch this. It's really kind of moot. I understand why they do it, but it's like you're trying to show off your muscle, but to somebody that doesn't have um, the ability to process just how much muscle that, that they're going to be annihilated if they would be destroyed. He would be destroyed. I mean, absolutely. Um, it's crazy. Anyway, then we have Chinese military developing thought control weapons. Guys, this is scary. This is scary to think that they're developing something that can control your thoughts. And this here is from Insight headlines. China's military is developing advanced psychological warfare and brain influencing weapons as part of a new war fighting strategy, according to the report on the People's Liberation Army cognitive warfare. Guys, I mean, I hate to always point things to Christ, but I can't help but tell you here, this is why you need Jesus Christ, and you need to have on that full armor to protect your minds. I mean, for things like this. The report, Warfare in the Cognitive Age, Neural Strike, and the PLL's Advanced Psychological Weapons and Tactics was published earlier this month. The CCP Biothreats Initiative, a research group. The PLA is at a forefront of incorporating advanced technologies such as artificial intelligence, brain-computer interfaces, and novel biological weapons into its military strategies. The think tank's analysts concluded. The report identified 2 recent studies by China's army that open source researchers say indicate the Chinese military is augmenting hard power weapons with new types of arms for help win wars without conventional weapons. The new arms include biological weapons designed to introduce sleep or sleep-related disturbances in the enemy troops. The goal is, get your butt down. Get down. Yeah. Get down. Get down. Come on. Fighting these cats this morning. You'll go back outside, girlfriend. The new, where was I? Conventional weapons. The new arms include biological weapons designed to induce sleep or sleep-related disturbances in enemy troops. The goal is to impair cognitive and alertness. So, goodness sakes, if they could induce somebody on the battlefield to go to sleep, what could they do? And I mean, they could wipe out the entire nation, because guess what? They'll just put you to sleep. Come in and do what they will. This is scary, guys. This is very scary. And the goal is to impair cognition and alertness. Absolutely crazy. Other weapons involve devices that establish a direct connection between the brain and external technology designed to influence cognitive process and decision making. Brain controlled weapons are also being developed to enable precise targeting and manipulation of cognitive functions in the enemy troops or leaders. The Chinese army is also working on advanced arms that can be controlled directly by a soldier's thoughts and will seek cognitive manipulation and control of enemies. Guys, wow. When you thought that, you heard it all. This, it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. I mean, to think that they have that type of technology, and that they're probably far more advanced than what they probably already have it, I mean, it's kind of scary. Anyway, I tell you, I pray. Put your armor on daily. Okay. So the Supreme Court hands Donald Trump a lifeline, in as much as that they are they said that they will hear an appeal against the Capitol riot obstruction charges that's against more than 300 people, including Trump. So we will continue to keep our eyes and ears open for the proceeding and their stance on it. And we'll see how that goes. Prayerfully, it'll go in his favor, right? We're all praying for it anyway. I know I am. Okay. Then we also have here, guys, from Breitbart. Chicago alderman, Biden administration is letting in asylum seekers under false pretenses with court dates in a decade. Guys, we've covered something similar to this. I think it was like the court date was like 7 years away or whatever. But here they're saying there's court cases now as up to 10 years from now. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I tell you, I just can't even imagine, you know, where by that time, you know, where are we going to be? You know, like seriously, 10 years, you're going to have, so, and the more they let in I'm sure their court dates could be pushed back 20 years, you know, that's just ridiculous. And that's if you get a speeding ticket, are they going to give you 10 years before you have to go to court? No. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Anyway, then we have the For Your Eyes section. Here is, like I told you earlier, that, you know, they're talking about a tit for tat. They remove, Trump will remove Biden. Republicans, I'm against that. You know, I really am. I think people just need to be allowed to make their decisions themselves. I don't think anybody's going to vote for Biden, but you know, hey, we know it doesn't really matter. It's who counts the votes that matter, right? Then we have, I think I put it on here twice. No, this is a different one. Okay, so this is the Republicans starting to take off, you know, him off the ballots. And then here is an article about a U.S. mercenary dead at 21 in Ukraine, fighting for Ukraine alongside of Ukraine. And he's just 21, and they're saying ex-military. I mean, I guess he got in for 2 years and got out real quick, but he's a mercenary, right? Those types of positions, I thought, you know, take a good bit of training, but maybe not. I don't know, guys. Anyway, that is really what I have for you. I do have, and it does keep repeating itself. There's some days I don't even do I don't do news because it's like just a repetitiveness of the day before, or maybe something we did 2 weeks ago. But you know, there's some things that I have to cover just to give us an overall view of things that are going on, that they keep continuously hammering, right? Anyway, I want to share this. This is from Hal Turner. And this was I guess he paid off a couple of vehicles and he was trying to have them removed. I want everyone to hear this because I think that if this happens to you, I pray that you'll do as he did, okay? And so let's listen to this, okay? He went to the motor vehicle to have his lien holders removed. Today, he went to New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission on Summit Avenue in Jersey City, New Jersey, to have the lien holder info removed from his 2 vehicle titles since he paid off the car loans. You're not going to believe what happened. Firstly, after the C scam, New Jersey Motor Vehicles has not done away with the requirements to make an appointment to go to one of their offices to have paperwork done. So he had to schedule an appointment last weekend, and he did. He got there. 2 security guards, do you have an appointment? I reply, yes. And they asked to see the appointment information from online. I brought it with me just in case and gave it to them. They tell me to go in and see the receptionist on the left. I go in. The receptionist who asked me, what are you here today? I reply, to have lien holders removed from the title on 2 vehicles. He hands me 2 application forms to get filled out. I go fill them out, return to the receptionist desk, return the PIN, and now it goes on to the ID check line to the left. ID check. I go ahead and do that. 2 people ahead of me. When it's my turn, I go up to the guy in the little booth. I think he was Hindu or whatever. The folks with the little red dot he's telling on the forehead, or the dot on the forehead. And he hands the filled out application to the title reissued. And he says, this is going to cost you 60 each to have the lien holder removed. I replied, yes, I know. He then says, I can get this done for free. Huh. I was not expecting this. My spidey senses started tingling. So I asked him how. Get this. He replies, I can have my boss delete the lien holder in our computer system. Then you walk out with the same title instead of a new one. I think to myself, then I won't have any way to prove the lien has been released. So I respond to him, no thanks. I want the reissue titles without the lien holder on them. He says, well, I'm just trying to save you money. He takes a staple remover and separates the titles from the lender loan satisfaction notarized letters, hands everything back to me with a card containing a number on it, K117, and tells me to take a seat over there and you'll hear your number called, it telling you which counter to go to. I go and sit down. About 5 minutes later, the computer voice over the PA speaker calls K7117, counter 10. So I get up, walk over to the counter 10, and the nice Spanish lady behind the counter takes my paperwork. To my utter shock, she says to me, it'll cost you 60 each to have the lien holders clear the title, but I can get it done for you for free. I'm now kind of stunned because this is now two separate employees from the Motor Vehicle Commission saying the same thing. So I play along and ask her how. She says, I will have the supervisor come over, delete the lien holder from your computer, but you leave here with the exact same title. I thought to myself, holy poo, they're all in on it for the great taking. I went on thinking to myself, now guys, he had the great taking on his website for a few days and we shared the link to it. So I hope you guys got to see it. Anyway, I went on to think to myself, these people are working for bankers, so the bankers can grab everybody's stuff, just as I learned from the video, The Great Taking. So I told the woman, bet then I would have no proof that the bank no longer has the lien. She responded, right, but you'll save 120 on two titles. So I responded, no, I want the lien holder removed and I want the new reissued titles without the bank on them. She reiterated, but that will cost you $60, a total of 120. And I responded, I don't care. I want the reissue titles. She put a smug face on as to say, oh, this guy must have money. He doesn't care about the 120. She processes the deletion of the lien holder info and then asks, will you be paying by credit check or legal tender? Legal tender. Nobody says that outside of us. I reply, legal tender, Federal Reserve notes. I hand her the cash to her and finishes the transaction, which prints the receipt. Legal tender. That's comical in itself, guys. But on all the same computer. So if I agreed to let them do it for free, they could not have removed the lien holder because the system requires the money to be paid before it will complete the action. If I had not paid, the computer could not have deleted the lien holder info. You know what I think? I personally think the whole offer to get it done free was a scam designed to deliberately mislead people thinking the lien had been removed when in fact it had not been removed. And it could not have been removed until the payment was tendered, because the computer won't process the removal unless payment has been made. That leaves these poor suckers who thought that they were getting it done for free, open to the banks coming and taking everything from them because all the official paperwork still shows the liens. How many thousands of people have believed this scam over the years? I'm telling you, folks, I am totally shocked by this happening at two separate employees in the State Motor Vehicle Commission facility. I now think states are in on it, and all of them are working in lockstep with the bankers to achieve their goal. You will own nothing and be happy. Not me. I have reissued titles without the lien holder info on them. These vehicles are in fact mine, and I can prove it with the titles. I was born at night, but not last night. They aren't getting over on him. Anyway, I shared that because if anybody else has had that kind of an experience or has done anything recently, I would tell you to go and make sure you get those reissued titles. Just saying. And I would do it as soon as I could. Just saying. I know that people thought, though, they were saving some money, but in the end, if they come back and say, you don't own it. You'll be thanking yourself for doing, you know, doing it. Um, when you get the, you know, you might be out 60 or 100 or $200, depending on how many vehicles you have and how much the tax is in your state. But don't let them get over on you. Anyway, yeah, legal tender, how hot, wasn't it? Okay, guys, that is what I have for you this morning. There is the For Your Eyes section, of course. We went over that, but that is all I have. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. I love you all so very much. God bless you and have a wonderful day, guys. Thank you. Bye, Daryl. Bye, Walter. Have a wonderful day, guys.